Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Laguna Seca. Now this race I decided to play a bit more aggressively, and as you'll see things don't turn out to plan. This is the reason I usually play passively, but I did qualify. I qualified and I got 8th place. Not the best place to start, I'm middle of the pack, but as we're coming down to our first corner, everybody brakes a little bit early. I get stuck into the Honda and for some weird Forza physics I'm glued to it, then I'm not, so I'll go off track, but no harm no foul. The guy in the Golf decides to go off track, so yeah, we're all back to where we started except for I gained the place. Now looking to our right hand side, braking just after the 300 board left, and you just want to get on the inside of that sausage, and that's where my weak point is. I'm not getting on the inside of that sausage to bring me back around that corner hard enough and fast enough, so I lose a bit of time there, but practice makes perfect, I guess. I decided to give myself a penalty here because I cut the corner by a few pixels and it was a brutal 1 second penalty. The guy behind us in the Ford Focus decides that I'm not going fast enough for him and starts ramming me about a little bit, like I've got anywhere to go. Probably I'm turning into his area to brake, so he doesn't have to use his brakes, I don't know, but he seems to get away with it and I don't, so I'll give him a little nudge back saying I'm beside you, bugger off. As we come to abreast across the start line, we're both pretty much on pace with each other speed wise, so I decide to keep the pressure on and brake at the last second, but he brakes before me, so I put my foot back down and slid it in, so now we're back to being 2 abreast again. I back out on this corner here thinking you can have it, I'm not even going to argue it anymore. I don't want to start losing driver rating or everything like that, because that's what happens. For some reason the one that gets hit gets penalised, and I took this corner a little bit too fast and I wanted the inside of that sausage. That back speed, if I got the inside of the sausage I would have gone around this corner fine, but I just missed it, which sent me off track, makes me lose a couple of places. Pain in the backside, yes, but it's an improvement I need to make. 9 down 9 keeps the pressure on the Mercedes in front, which works out quite beneficial in a moment here, because me and 9 down 9 have a good little race between each other. But as we come up to our final turn, 9 down right behind, and the Mercedes Mac Chains goes off track, and that's our place gained right here. So I'm back pretty much where I started on the grid. So keeping behind 9 down, trying to keep him with his toe, keep a bit of speed up, bit of momentum. Slow down for this corner, down to 4th gear, doing about 105, 110 to get around this corner quite nicely. I decide I've got a hell of a good run on this, pushing it out. I end up bottling it on this corner because I don't know what the outside of the track is like grip wise, and well, the Mercedes behind me showed me how good the grip is on it, but him in the infinite wisdom decides to go off track again because once wasn't enough, so let's do it again. Start a lap 4, me and 9 down start having our little race together. It turns out to be quite fun really. I've got a better pull on this corner here, so I've got the inside line now for a change, and 9 down actually gives me space. This is what the race should be like, giving each other space, giving each other room to manoeuvre. But as I still bottle it out because, you know, Forza drivers are pretty unpredictable, so I decided to be more on the of caution. As we come up to the corkscrew at the top here, down to 2nd gear, hard left, pop it into 3rd, and you get a better run out of the exit, not spinning the tyres so much. Aiming for the curb on the left hand side, just give it a nice little rub, and you seem to take that corner really well. 4th gear, rubbing on the inside curb and letting it glide out to the outside, but 9 down lets me take this position, backs out for it for me, so on the final turn I gain P6. And that was quite a nice little race with 9 down, gave us both each other space and a good race. So as we move on to the start of lap 7, as you come into our first corner, down to 4th gear, 108, 109 miles per hour, take it just nicely. We're catching up to Timmy Too Fast. And we did make quite a bit of progress on the car behind. 2 in the goos behind us, so I'm not too sure what happened to 9 down. Hit this corner perfectly, just over the sausage. You can see I can do it at 93 miles per hour instead of the usual 80-81. But as we get past Timmy Too Fast here, I have a much better exit. Decides to hit me a few times, and I thought, well, I'm in front, mate, I'm taking this corner. Hits me again, and then decides he's not happy and starts pushing me off track. I'm at full lock here, left, couldn't turn. decides to push me off track. No idea why. I come on track and don't check my mirrors. This is my own fault here, and I'm sorry to the cars behind me. I can only apologise about that one. I should have checked. But then again, watch, he comes over and starts ramming me some more. Well, have it. There you go. How about them apples? Not only the fact that he's lost the fight against me, he's lost about 3 or 4 positions. So what was the point in that, you know? I was ahead on the turn. Yeah, I could have overtaken better, but common sense says I'm in front, I'm taking that turn. You know, you can go 2 abreast through there, so I don't see the reason for the battle. Either way, I come out 7th place, so on to the next race. Aone is not one of my strongest tracks. The first corner and the last corner are my weak points on here. But I decided not to qualify, and he decided not to drive. So as we come down, we gained already 2 places from the shenanigans of a non-starter. Coming over to our first corner, and people are going weird places. The fog is really thick, and I don't know if it is the fog in this game, but my gosh, it isn't half white, like blindingly white. But decided to make places, and we've gone from 18 to P11, which is a really good improvement up to now. Coming down this fast bit, it's just flat out all the way through here. Decided to try and get as much slipstream as I can, and to be fair, the Honda's really putting it out well. Usually the Link is faster than the Honda in a straight line, but he's doing really well. Guy in P9 decides to go off track and goes quite slowly. I go off track by like a pixel or less, but I don't get a penalty for it, luckily enough. But like you see, my strongest point is not these last 2 corners here. It was at one long corner. I lose a lot of time. I'm trying to get a feel of it again. It's not like it's a continuous corner. It goes wide and then straight and then goes quite tight in at the end. So I've just got to get a few practice runs on it and just get it down to a T really. But I don't do this track often enough to gain any experience like that from it. So as you can see, the first corner, everybody's all over the shop. You come up to the top here, flat out, and then you see the 50 board brake down to 3rd gear. As soon as you see the red on your left hand side, foot back down and just rub that outer triangle piece and keep your toe all the way in it. And again, just it's flat out all the way down through here, so keep to your right. And then what I tried to do is come to the left, rub that curb ever so slightly to the left, and then rub the curb to the right. And looking to our left hand side, you see the tarmac go from red to grey. That's my first braking point. Down to 5th, down to 4th, coasting it round, and then down to 3rd when you get to the next red, and come around this bend and power back on. And that seems to be like a sweet spot for me at the moment. Like I say, I haven't optimized that line the best yet, but that's the points I've got at the minute until I can improve upon myself. At the start of lap 4, the Golf decides to go off track and slow right down quite a bit really, which gives me another position, which is quite nice. I'm not going to grumble like that. So that puts me to P8. Still trying to catch up to Humble Assassin in P7 in the Honda. It's making very good progress over me. But now I'm starting to get a bit more of a rhythm of this track and get a bit more feeling for it. It's been a while since I've been on this track, so it doesn't come up that often in the touring car series, especially not with this heavy fog on it as well, which really doesn't help. As you can see, the Link is catching up to the Honda really well. I decided to follow the Honda, see what they're doing through the turns that's different to me, and there's not much in it really. Maybe I'm taking this turn a bit tighter than what they are, which gives me a better run out, and surprisingly give me a lot of space. Like, I'm not that scary of a driver. You don't need to be at the other end of the track. But they decided to come up behind me, get a bit of slipstream from me, braking halfway through here, a little bit late on the brakes here, and I come out of the turn a bit slow. But as you can see, now we're coming a bit sloppy, but I don't really lose that much of a position. So come up to the 50 board, braking hard down to 3rd gear, try and clip the inside of the apex, but I miss it ever so slightly. So the Honda has a much better run through there than I did. I decided to run 2 abreast of the Honda. He's far over on the left hand side and I'm on the right, and we're going to run 2 abreast through these little quick bends here, giving each other a bit of space. As you can see, being fair and courteous to each other is what all I ever asked for in a race, which is really nice. I brake a bit early here and caused a little kerfuffle behind us. I should have braked a bit later than what I did, but I've been a bit more cautious than I should have been. And again, I'm still ahead and I cannot grumble at that. So that's the end of a lap 4 in itself. Final lap, and not much has changed. In P7, the Honda got overtaken by the Hyundai. Me and the Honda was playing together for a little while, but ultimately I came out ahead just by a little bit. But on this corner here, I decided to give myself a penalty because I came in a little bit too hot, powered on a bit too early, straightened it out and went across the line. That's why I say you can rub that curb, but just don't go over it. It gave me a 0.6 second penalty, which is really kind of the stewards on this one. Real kind. As we come down here, rub the inside curb and rub the curb again. Looking out for the colour change on the pavement on the left hand side, down to 5th. As I say, these aren't my strongest corners, so I've probably done this faster and I cut up the Hyundai, possibly, maybe a little bit, but it threw me off track. My tyres are almost dead, but I didn't lose too much time, and the Hyundai behind us had quite a penalty on him. I think that penalty might have been caused by running into me. I can't prove it. If it is, my bad. But at the end of the race, that gave me P7. So moving on to our next and final race at the Suzuka circuit. At this circuit, I'm pretty confident on, I'm not going to lie. So I qualified for it and started off in P3, which I'm pretty proud of myself, I'm not going to lie. Although there's only 4 players in the lobby, maybe 5. That's irrelevant to the whole situation. As we come up to our first corner, looking out for the road to our left, braking down the 4th gear, take it a bit wide, try and give everybody space, but that space is soon cut off by Leroy, so a place lost, but doesn't really matter. As long as I keep the pressure on and the desync doesn't put me off too much. It's when they start glitching around in front of you, it puts me off because I don't know where they want to be. It's not the first time they've been out of place and I've gone into the back of them, but Leroy goes off track and I gain P3 back. Catching up behind Lumen, 7948. Take our corner here, a little bit wide, go onto the grass and bin it just a little bit, which gives Leroy that place back. So I only lose the position, but sure I'll get it back. Keeping up in the slipstream behind Leroy, flat out. Keeping a lookout for the 150 board on the left hand side, and then just after that you'll have the little road. That's the braking point just here. Down the 4th gear, hang it over, and then down the 3rd. I was hoping Leroy would enter the corner a bit slower than what he did, because I was hoping to go around the outside of him, but it didn't really plan out so well. But I know through this little bit here is my strong points. You can see Leroy's off the track again, so I gain P3 back. For the third time. Yeah. I decide now is to make my move, make a point. I've got to keep my foot in it and stop goofing around ever so much. Go across here, keep it nice and tight till you open it past the pit opening there and put your foot back down. And again, straight across the start line. This is quite a short race, to be quite honest with you. But I quite like it. It's quick and technical at the same time. Again, 100 board, road, brake down the 4th gear, over the top a little bit, down the 3rd gear, which I miss, but never mind, I find it eventually. There it is. And I try and catching up to Lumen. Looking at ADNJ67, 5.1 seconds ahead. There's no way, I don't think I'm going to catch that in the amount of time I have left. So the next person I want to overtake is Lumen. So I play it technical as I can. I know this road very, very well. So the idea of it is 3rd gear all the way through. And cut across this curve as tight as you can without getting a penalty. You can really abuse that track limit. Cut it in nice and tight, open that pit lane and back onto the power as soon as possible. And hopefully stay in the slipstream with him. Try and gain a claw back at least a few more seconds. 0.10ths of a second. Come up 100 boards, brake down the 4th gear. and then cutting it in third gear, and it puts him off. So I've done well there, and that's me in P2. You could do the rest of this course in third gear, so you rub the inside of this curb here and rub the inside of the other curb. Just trying not to get onto the dirt because that's what makes you slide out. But as you can see, it's all third gear all the way through. Now this corner here, let off a little bit and power back on just now, and then you rub the outer curb on there just nicely. But the whole inside, the whole twisting of the track is third gear all the way through. It's quite easy really. It's just trying to carry the speed and maximizing the track width to keep the speed up. Final lap, and as you can see, the ADN has gained another second on me throughout the few laps we had left together, and got a 0.2 second penalty. But like I said, I knew I wasn't going to catch up. My tyres are slowly about to die, but I have made a huge gap from the players behind me. So Lumen is now 11.3 seconds away behind me. So I've got quite good pace, not as good pace as ADNJ, but I do seem to quite match other players in front. If you think about it, if we kept up to P1 to start with, I would have been about 1.5 seconds away from ADNJ just at the end of this race, not the distance I've got now because I was stuck behind and messing around Lumen so long. But as we end the race, we end up in a pole position of P2. And I didn't get a penalty this race, which is also another bonus. Look at me shine on a podium. It's been a while since I've been here. Oh yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Bye bye.